Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vet Chats, where we help veterans share their awesome stories and make the veteran community a better place. I hope you'll stay tuned to hear how this generation is continuing their service. Vet Chats is now available on Reach Across America Radio. They have a ton of great veteran content that I know you'll appreciate. You can find them at Reach Across America Radio or iHeartRadio or the Odyssey app or their website. Another quick reminder, if you are a female veteran who has ever served in California or is currently serving, or if you have lived in California and you're now living somewhere else, please take the California Female Veteran Survey. The California VA is putting this survey out to hear the voices of women veterans to help improve their facilities, and the link is in my bio. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, as research on women veterans is so important. All right, hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Hello. And I hope you had a nice weekend, some time to relax, maybe get a bunch of stuff done. I know I did a little of both. So, yeah. Tonight we have a great guest. His name is David Pere. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He is the creator of From Military to Millionaire. Yes, this guy is successful. So he now is the largest military real estate investing community in the world. This is what he created, where he helps service members and veterans build wealth through real estate, investing, entrepreneurship, and personal finances. And guys, he's got a lot of knowledge, so we're gonna have a lot of questions. He's also the author of the No BS Guide to Military Life, How to Build Wealth, Get Promoted, and Achieve Greatness. So I'll have to ask him about that as well. Let me see. I think he joined there. So he should be on any second. Hey!
Did well with the bio. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Just finished smoking a cigar or two with the guys, and now I'm trying to make sure my dogs don't go berserk because I locked them inside.
Hey, that's what dogs do. So is today your birthday?
No. My birthday was Thursday, but I was actually out of town at a conference, so I was just like told a bunch of guys like, "Hey, I got this going on," and for whatever reason, this dropped. Like it wasn't on my calendar, which is 100% my fault. My Google Calendar has been dropping things, and so when you texted me this morning, I was like, "Oh yeah, was that 9 o'clock your time or my time?" But
Dang, I'm sorry. Yeah, usually I do like a check-in during the week, but like I said,
no,
my Instagram keeps logging me out. I'm not sure what's going on, but my Google Calendar also is dropping things. I don't know if we need to file a complaint or what's going on.
they probably thought I didn't fit their political views or something. They're like, "We're just gonna mess up their day."
Right,
But
right. Well, happy belated birthday, and what a better day to celebrate than St. Patrick's Day. Did you do anything special for that? You're wearing green?
yeah, I mean, just had the guys over. We had like I think 8 or 9 other investors, entrepreneurs hanging out, having some. Well, they were having some really fancy bourbon. And I was trying not to get home for just a cigar. But
Is it so when you guys hang out, is it like, can you talk about other things, or is it really just like kind of sharing knowledge?
yeah, no, we're probably like the most inappropriate group of guys ever. Hey, you don't need your squeaky toy. Sorry. Um, we've done a pretty good job not just talking business. I mean, it's a lot of times it is hard, and it does come up for sure. But we try to do a good job having fun and just talking, hanging out, BSing about things. But yeah, it's definitely, I would say these conversations are way different than when I get around like Marines and, or like high school buddies or whatever. Like there's still a lot of smack talking, but the general conversations are slightly higher level, I guess, and just not in a, I mean, that sounds snooty, but you know what I mean. Like they're deeper conversations than like, hang out with like my high school buddies, and it's like so and so did. You know, did that.
Yep. No, I gotcha. Okay, I could kind of understand it. So you mentioned your Marine Corps buddies, and you yourself are a Marine. When did you join, and why did you join the Marines?
2008. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I didn't know what I wanted to study in school. I didn't have money for school, and I wanted to leave Arkansas. So, what better way than join the military, letting them pay for it? I served active until 2021, so 13 years.
Wow. Okay, so that's still kind of recent. I mean, within that 3 year window, you got the beard going strong, you know.
Yeah, I know the reserves made me choose between the beard and staying in the reserves, and I guess I'm not in the reserves anymore. So,
Oh, that was a deal breaker. I mean, I'm at the rate we're going, I'm pretty sure they're gonna allow beards soon.
yeah, I know. I'll come right back.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I had to get out of Wisconsin, so I felt like the military was one of my best ways to get out and kind of see the world. And did you feel like you were able to do that in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I'm gonna shout out Above the Bar because he's the man. I was just on his podcast. So,
Oh,
um, oh yeah, I saw the world. I enjoyed. I think I saw 13 countries the first 4 years in the Marine Corps, and then there was a deployment, so plenty of adventure. And then, the more I got promoted, and the less there was war, things slowed down. I got boring, stuck in an office, less fulfilling, but
yeah, yeah. It seems once you get past a certain level, it's like you got to do the paper pushing and all that. You kind of riding the desk.
yeah, I got stuck in a skiff, and I was like, "This is terrible." What do you mean I
Oh,
can't use Gmail or have my phone?
oh, that's awful. So wait, you were working in a scale. Okay, so a little context for people listening. You really created your network and your Facebook group, your online presence, building up your real estate portfolio while you were still active duty. And so I know there's a lot of free time on active duty to just kind of like surf the internet, but it sounds like if you're in a skiff, you really didn't have that. So you were doing all of this outside of work.
Yeah, man, the last couple of years on active duty, I woke up at my first alarm went off at 4:15, no, 3:45. I was up by 4:15 every day. Well, most days, definitely not every. And then, I try to get 2 or 3 hours worth of stuff in. I would be at the skiff by 7:30, and then I'd leave around 5 and go work on stuff in the evenings and then weekends. And I built the last 2 years. It's funny because I say that and people are like, "Wow, I can't imagine you get anything done." I'm like, I was probably more productive then than I am now. Um, Now it's like, I can do whatever. I can take 30 minutes off TikTok. And then it was like very focused on the real estate side. I mean, we did 54 transactions, I think, that last 2 years on active duty. Working out of a skiff, it was taking phone calls.
Oh man, it keeps cutting in and out. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, I heard taking phone calls. There, I don't know. Do you have bad weather there? Yeah, it just seems like the connection's bad. Am I coming in clear?
You won't get the cool backdrop, but are things any better in here?
I don't know. It seems like it's just getting worse. Okay, kind of clearer.
I don't know.
It's like those old phone commercials. Can you hear me now? Okay, that's kind of clear.
All right, we'll see what happens. I'm sorry. I've got um I don't know what would be going on. I've got full. Woo.
I know sometimes it acts funny with the live stream.
It's
Oh,
just strange. Like
hey.
my Wi-Fi was acting weird today, but my service has been fine, and
Okay.
I'm not on the Wi-Fi. right now. I'm on. It shows I've got 4 bars,
This
5G.
seems
So
this seems good. It's working good. And Danny just joined of 1 Mile One Veteran, who connected us when we were at the Military Influencer Conference. So
he's a good dude.
yes, he's amazing. Everyone should go check him out.
All right. So what were we talking about when I started jerking around?
You were talking about, so you're working in the skiff, so you would work
Oh,
evenings, late nights, weekends, building your kind of empire, I'm gonna call it.
and then I think I was saying that as crazy as that was, I was probably more productive on the real estate side then than I even am now. I did 54 transactions that last 2 years, buying and selling houses as an investor, like actually taking the house down. And now I do 4 or 5 deals a year. So it's not. I don't know. I think I was just. It was like the motivation of like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to leave the military. And now it's like, I'm taking down bigger deals, but it's much more about how much time I'm spending on work as opposed to how many. Like then it was like, I need to do this or I'm not going to be able to retire. And now it's like, this is kind of fun. It's more, I don't know,
Yeah,
not as
yeah,
tight a schedule.
you can go after things that are more interesting to you. So I know we have a lot of people listening that are in that transition phase, whether they're thinking about getting out or they're, in those first couple years. What advice in terms of preparation would you give them?
Well, I mean, I think that is gonna differ a little bit depending on where you are in your career, but I'm a huge fan of the TSP. I'd say at least be getting your matching contribution in there. Um, I
Which
think if
is
you're
5%?
yeah, 5%. Um, and, and then I think on top of that, I would go if you know where you're going to be living or moving or whatever, and you can buy a house with the VA loan before you get out. That's probably the way to go. It's like once you leave the military, you won't be able to qualify for a loan the same. Um, but but if you, it's hard because if you're not stationed where you're going to be living, you're not going to be able to like buy a VA loan house right there. But there are lenders who will allow you to like let your wife move into the house and you have the intent to occupy that year and you can use the VA loan. So if you can use your military income to qualify for a loan, buy a house before you get to that 6 month mark of getting out so that you can actually use it and do it. Um, Other than that, I mean, if you're just looking at the transition from a financial standpoint, I say put a bunch of money in savings and index funds and have a runway. But spend some time educating yourself on how to use those benefits to your advantage, and just make sure you have a big runway because you never know what's going to happen when you get out of the military.
Yes, yeah, you definitely want to have a cushion other than kind of scrambling because you don't know that next job security wise. And not all of us have the foresight for knowing we're going to get out, or if you're getting medical separated, or something unfortunate happens. Yeah, where would you recommend people start looking if they wanted to get into real estate?
Well, actually, I'm almost close enough to grab it. Rich Dad Poor Dad was the first thing I read, Robert Kiyosaki.
Ah,
Um, and I mean, that's probably the book that more people I know who've gotten into real estate claim as how they got their start than any other book. Um, it, it's not like a tactical book so much as more of a mindset, like how to understand like why passive income is so important and how it can change your life. And then once you go from there, how to invest in real estate, which is the Bigger Pockets book, is pretty good. The Bigger Pockets podcast is solid. I have a book on real estate investing and stuff, which rather than being a pitch, you can get it for free on the link in my bio. So there's no reason to pay for it, but uh, my favorite strategy is like house hacking, which is like buying a fourplex with a VA loan. You live in one unit, you rent the other three, and then um, just hanging out, and you learn how to be a landlord. You get all the tax benefits, all the appreciation, the cash flow. Uh, and there's a couple different spots you can learn about that. But I would just start listening to podcasts, reading some books, and check it out. uh, those two books.
So I'm curious, what was it like for you and being in the military and then also being a landlord at the time? How did you balance that?
I didn't. I do not have the personality to be a landlord, so I hired a property manager right away, and I never actually did that myself. So I did. I interviewed three different property managers. I had a bunch of questions I asked, and I found a decent one. I pay her 7%, and um, I just realized right off the bat I'm way too much of a people person to be the hard uh, hard
Right.
on hard on my tenants like you need to be sometimes. So not my best interest.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I don't think I have that personality at all. I don't know if I could do that. So that's good that there's that. I think a lot of people might not think of that alternative where you don't have to do everything yourself, and you probably shouldn't do everything yourself.
No, I think the more you scale, the more you should outsource.
Yes, yeah, and you have a few videos that kind of talk about those options. What other parts of our lives do you think we should be outsourcing, where we so we don't have to feel like we have to do all of it?
Everything you can. I mean, it depends on where you're at financially. I mean, I'm at a spot where as long as I'm actually focused and doing the work, uh, the time that I spend focusing and doing the work is more valuable than the time I would spend doing almost every other task. And so I say focusing, doing the work. That's obscure reference, I guess, or vague, but that's going to depend on what your zone of genius is, right? So, like for you, doing content and building out your platform, like focusing on those things is probably some of your most valuable time, even though it doesn't feel like it to make an Instagram video or whatever. Um, but as you start working on the entrepreneurial space, there's a couple different ways to do it. One, you can write down everything you do throughout a week, and then you can figure out like which of these directly tie to making money, and you outsource all the ones that don't.
Mm.
I like the option of I do it's like basically it's I'm trying to think of a third P because it's an act, but essentially like what are you good at, what do you love, and what can you make money doing? Oh, purpose, passion, and profit. So I will write down like everything I love doing, whether I'm good at it or can make money. So for me, like I really like dabbling in the marketing side. I'm good at that. But I really like also building out like all my email stuff, and I'm not good at that. So okay, I check one box and not the other. And then which of those can you make money doing? And where all three of those connect, where I'm good at it, I love doing it, and I can make money doing it, that's where I should focus 100% of my time. And so basically anything that falls outside of that window, I try to outsource. Easiest way to do that is just to figure out that like what makes me money and what doesn't, and outsource the don't. Or if you have something on your calendar that you procrastinate, that's like a big indicator. You're either not good at it or you don't enjoy it if you keep putting it off.
Mm.
So once you figure that out, you can hire a virtual assistant for like $5 and in the Philippines and have them take everything down. Or I have an in-person assistant. So some examples: my assistant handles all my emails, most of my bills, you know, all of my scheduling. If I drop something off in the mail, she does it. I gave her a power of attorney so she could actually do the DMV for me.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
errands around errands around town, all kinds of stuff, right? And then I have a community manager who keeps up to date on all my onboarding for my community. Um, I hired a video editor full time. I hired a copywriter who does my emails and the captions on my videos. And so my main focus now is raising money or making content for my platform. And anything else I try to just outsource. And it's not a fast thing. Like obviously you have to make the money to hire that person. But in almost every step I've made more money for doing that. So I would say, to anyone listening to this, like you probably have enough crap going on in your life that you can hire a part-time assistant, executive assistant for 5 or 10 hours a week, and it would save you enough time that you would start making enough money to hire them for 20. And then it just kind of scales. Heck, I even have a house cleaner now that does my laundry and cleans my house. So try to do as little of that stuff that I don't enjoy doing as possible.
Right, right. And like especially for me, like I've wanted to do that, or I've even had people like offering to help me with, either the podcast and stuff, but it's hard for me to let go of that control of everything. How did you kind of get over that?
I, contrary to what my ex-wife would probably tell you, because anyway, sorry, bad jokes. Um, I'm like the least controlling person ever. I'm to a fault. Like if somebody's not overseeing it, that's not more detail oriented than I am, it'll fall through the cracks. Like I have no business flipping a house because I don't manage the contractors well. I don't, and so it was very easy, honestly, for me to be like, here, take this crap. I don't want to do it. I just kind of create like a system, and I'm like, as long as it looks like this at the end of the day, we're good. Um, but I do know that a lot of people struggle with that, and I would just say, like, especially if it comes to like paying bills, for one, you can set restrictors. Like at first, her credit card I think was set to 750 a day. So like if she was going to rob me, it wasn't going to be something that ruined me. Um, so you can set restrictors like that. But you can also just start with like small tasks. Try this, and if they succeed, then try this, and if they succeed, um, which honestly you're going to grow into it anyway. You don't want to hand over the whole business to them, or they're going to be overwhelmed.
Right.
So
Yeah, just baby steps at a time, it sounds like, because
yeah,
I,
and I'll follow up with they're not going to be as good as you. It is what it is.
okay.
But if you can hire someone who does 80% of what you do, even if they're 70% as good, that still clears up a ton of your time.
Hmm.
And if it's a 70% product, it's probably fine most of the time. So they're never going to be quite as good as you. But if I can pay for 100 hours that clears 70 hours off my plate, like I know the math there seems weird, but it's like even if they're not quite as good at you as you are, or not as efficient as you are, it's still better than you doing it.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely, and then even if, then that frees you up to be 100% on what you want to focus on and to be even better at that. So that makes sense. So you kind of had your proof of concept down by, buying, you bought an apartment building, you're buying these properties. When did you decide to kind of share all this knowledge and turn it into content and a blog?
It I wish it was like a simple decision and then things happened.
Right.
Uh, I never had any intention of it being what it is. I just wanted to learn how to write. Over that shoulder, there's well, for anyone who's deployed, a wag bag that I have stuffed a journal and a mission log, which is a write in the rain notebook and a journal into that I kept when I was deployed, and I just I don't know. I wanted to write a book. I was like, well, SEALs all write books about all the cool stuff they did. I didn't do anything that cool. I was a normal dude. But what did normal people go through? And it's much more relatable. So I was like, I'm going to write this book. So I asked a friend, how do you write a book? And his answer was, you should start a blog to learn how to write. And so I was like, okay, great. The hell do I write about? Like, I don't, what should I blog about? And he was like, well, you're in the military. Just document all your stuff you're learning about buying houses. Other service members probably buy houses. And so then I came up with like 9 or 10 different names for a website. All of them were terrible. One of my friends told me that and came up with a few names, and one of them was From Military to Millionaire. And we ran with it. And I would just write about what I was learning, and then whenever people asked questions, I'd pay attention. If I got the same, you know, hey, can I use my VA loan more than once from like 4 people? Then I'd go and do all the research and write an article about how to use the VA loan more than once. And then I was just kind of slowly doing that, and over time it just exploded.
Wow. So people were actually going to the blog and finding it and, just wanting more. And so you were like, how can I give them more? And then you created the Facebook group.
Yeah, the Facebook group. Well, I mean, it started. Well, the Facebook page started the same month as everything else.
Oh,
Wasn't I was so bad at this, it wasn't until like 9 months later that I realized nobody actually talks on a page. It's a group that I wanted. And so I had
yep.
meant to start a group right away. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what. I was like, why am I just posting stuff and people are commenting, but no one else is posting? And someone was like, they can't. it's not a Facebook group. And I was like, oh, I started the wrong thing. So I went and started a Facebook group, and then yeah, it was at like probably 6 or 7 thousand members 2.5 years in, and then it just took off. And I mean, it was like it went from like 100 people a day would join to like, or 100 people a week would join to like 100 a day, 200 a day, 300 a day, and it went from 7,000 to like 48, 49,000 people in a year. And I was like, holy crap. That was kind of when it clicked, like, oh, I've got like a business. Like I should actually treat this as such and have like an editor and figure out how to not lose money every, because I mean I was paying to run the show for 3 years. I don't think I saw a green bookkeeping tab for an annual report until year three and a half, four. Um, now it's made up for that, so it's all good.
Right. That's good to hear because I feel like I'm on year 4 and I'm like, yeah, nothing green yet. Not that I started this as a business, but you put so much energy and time into it, you'd like to get something back. Um, so what was where was I going? Okay, so with that group, you see like, hey, I got something here. Like, what's the next step? How
Oh,
do you
for
manage all those people and like, kind of tap into that?
well, I don't know if they're still on here, but I saw an Adam Whitney comment in there, and he's one of the people that, and I think I saw Donnie on there too, which is actually funny because Donnie was just over here smoking a cigar. But Adam was and still is a moderator on my Facebook group, and so I asked a few friends at first. I was like, "Hey, man, you know, you have very similar morals or ethics or whatever that I to what I value." Values, there's the word. Would you come and be a moderator in this group? And if you see something that just seems really weird, just kick them out. And, like I say weird, but I mean like scammy, salesy,
Right.
someone pitching stuff in my group, whatever, boot them. And then after that, after a while, it became, I had 8 members of the vetted VA community, which is Vetted VA is like a training program for VA lenders. So they came and moderated, and I was like, please monitor all the VA loan talk and make sure that it's accurate. And if it's not, correct it. And if someone's like being again salesy, just boot them. So I've got probably 18 people helping me with that Facebook group now, kind of with the similar um, strategies or and then outside of that, I mean, I've got systems. I've got an executive assistant who helps with adding people to the group, and uh, yeah,
Yeah, it's running autonomously now, That's really awesome and, interesting for me to hear because I also like we have a group too. It's smaller and we keep it very tight. We have some moderators because you get those scammers, you get those salesy people. People love to prey on veterans. Imagine that. Um,
yeah,
so, yeah, right. And then you also have a mastermind group, and you have your own training program, right?
yeah. The mastermind. So I mean, I've got a couple of courses like how to buy your first rental, buying off-market deals. And they're super basic. They teach you everything you need to know, but they're just a basic course. It's cheap. And then I have the mastermind group, which is called the War Room Mastermind, which I think I spilled something that my dogs were being a pain earlier, and I'm pretty sure I spilled something all over that shirt. So we normally I'm wearing one of my War Room shirts around, but we've got 328 members right now, all service members and vets, and so that's all the education plus 3 calls a week. One or two are guest speakers. One's like a group mentoring, like just ask me anything call. Um, and so and then we've got the community. So we've got people in every niche of real estate and business that are there to, help people along. So it's a very generous group. We've got 7, 8, 9 figure net worth guys in the group, and um, plenty of, 5 and 6 and 0 net worth too. But um, everything from looking to buy your first deal to guys running 10 million plus businesses.
Wow. I can't even fathom that. It's like, well, but like you said, you scale it. It takes time going up and up. and you'll get there. So I know we are coming up on time, and I just wanted to know where can people find you, and where's the best place for people to get your book?
Yeah. Uh, well, to get my book, it should be the link in my bio, although I was told it wasn't working today, so if it
Oh no,
doesn't,
I
I'm gonna try
hate
to
when that
fix that in the
happens.
morning. Um, always VA loan first. I just saw that question. I'm sorry. You can use the FHA whenever, but the VA loan is the better product all day, every day. That's a whole long rant. Yeah, if you just go to From Military to Millionaire on Instagram or Military Millionaire, you can search either of those things on any platform pretty much, and you'll be able to follow along. And then um, the link for that book, the free download, should be on pretty much any platform.
Perfect. Awesome. Is there anything else I could help you share tonight? Any further advice you want to give veterans who are just getting out?
Oh, there's so much, but I think
I
really
know
just get
it's
it.
a really big question.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, there's so much advice. I would just say get around people who are doing what you want to do in life and know that being a veteran sets you up for success more than any other thing you could possibly be doing. Um, but it's up to you to choose whether or not you believe that.
That's I would agree with that. It opens up a lot of doors, so into a
Absolutely.
lot of great communities and networks. Um, well, I want to thank everyone for joining the live. It was fun seeing everyone pop in and out, and thanks for the comments. And Dave, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for coming on Vet Chat, sharing your knowledge, and chatting with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye everyone.